We begin with the Florida Legislature. It wrapped up its regular session earlier this month without passing a state budget. It is a constitutionally mandated duty and the second year in a row that lawmakers left without the job done. Now they'll head back potentially 3 times to deal with the budget, congressional redistricting, and property taxes. We look at what's next and what's at stake for Floridians.
Physically, the Florida House and Senate are just a few hundred feet apart. But when it comes to the budget, the two chambers ended session with a distance of $1.4 billion to navigate. The House version outlined $113.6 billion in spending, while the Senate landed higher at $115 billion.
There are the mistrust issues that I find to be extraordinarily difficult to understand, given the fact that we're all supposed to be Republicans.
House Speaker Daniel Perez and Senate President Ben Albritton say that lawmakers will return for a budget special session likely in mid-April. The state faces a partial government shutdown if a budget is not signed by July 1st. And that's not the only return trip. A special session on voter redistricting is set for April the 20th through the 24th. Lawmakers will be tasked with redrawing Florida's congressional maps, something that historically only takes place once a decade. Florida's last redistricting was in 2022. The move to redraw the voting lines is not exclusive to Florida and has been undertaken recently in several other states. A third session is expected to take up Governor Ron DeSantis' push to reduce property taxes. The House put forward 7 proposals, 1 passed. Its plan would place a new non-school homestead exemption on this year's November ballot. The Senate declined to take up property tax cuts during the regular session, insisting that more debate is needed. Just 12% of bills passed this session and still no budget.
It's really a shame that we've had 60 days and we have almost nothing to show the state for affordability issues.
As lawmakers head back to Tallahassee, the pressure is on to finish the job with billions of dollars and a deadline at stake.
And Mitch, you are just back from Tallahassee, having spent all those weeks there. Where are we on this? When are we meeting about the budget? You're saying?
I'm saying that as of today, again, we don't know, but it's expected to be soon. Now, they do have not until the end of June. This is different than last year in the respect that because the chambers met in January and February, they have a little more lag time to get it together. Again, that is their only constitutionally mandated responsibility to do that. So it does have some urgency, and it's not good. You know, Senator Don Gates, a Republican from the Panhandle area, he called it embarrassment. He said, you know, and not only on this, but also for not addressing certain other issues. And again, this fissures that have developed between the two chambers, between the two leaders of the chambers in the last couple of years has been really pronounced. They were Republican violence, if you will.
And there's plenty of fissures, as you said, when we talk about redistricting, congressional redistricting. What in this plan, Republicans think that they will be gaining how many seats?
Well, we're hearing them downplay a little bit after the results maybe of the state elections this week. We've heard between 1 to 3, up to 5 districts that they think they can take. Right now, Republicans have 20 of the 28 congressional districts they control right now. Now, this is technically illegal to do it just to get partisan advantage, and Ron DeSantis has acknowledged that. You know, I asked him a couple of months ago, or somebody did a press conference, like, how many seats do you think the Republicans can get when you do this? He said, well, that's not what we're doing it for. We're going to be mandated to do it because the U.S. Supreme Court's going to weigh in on this decision about the Voting Rights Act. Because he's being very careful, because we do have the Fair Districts Amendment, and the legislature over a decade ago got chided for that, got knocked down because they did it against it. So they're going to theoretically try to be doing this in a nonpartisan way. We'll see how that plays out. And again, there's a possibility perhaps of what they call a demi-mander, where you think you're going to actually gain more seats and it actually redounds on you, and the Democrats may do better. I mean, it's really kind of a dangerous thing that they're doing, and they're really only doing this obviously because Donald Trump a year ago said, I want states to do this, Texas and other states to do this, because I'm fearful of losing the congressional midterms.
Florida's certainly not the only one that's doing
this.
No,
and it's gone on both sides, obviously. Right. California is doing this as well.
Property taxes. We've been hearing about property taxes, eliminating property taxes for a year.
Yeah.
Where are we on that?
Well, it's funny because, as you mentioned, Ron DeSantis was his top issue going into the legislative session, and then he didn't say a word about it for the whole 9 weeks, basically, that was going on. The House did pass something, as you mentioned again in the setup clip here, and they can feel good about themselves in terms of like, we did something this year. The Senate did not follow suit because they're basically listening to what DeSantis wants them to do, and basically they never even filed a companion measure. So that's not going to count, whatever the House did in their session. What it's going to be, I don't know. Ron DeSantis hasn't come up with anything himself, and he said the other day, it's not ripe yet. We'll wait till a certain time to bring it out.
Right.
This could be later. I'm thinking maybe May or so. I somehow think he wants to do this towards the August midterms because he thinks that some Republicans are kind of queasy about this. I don't think so in the House. They voted unanimously for this. But I don't know if he believes in this as much as he did before. I think this is going to be his big legacy project to eliminate property taxes outright on homestead properties.
The House is moving forward with their plans,
right?
And the Senate is really
watching
they didn't do
what
anything.
And basically, it's dead. Even what the House did, it's dead because a constitutional amendment has to have 3/5 in both chambers, correct. And so that died. Okay, so that's so there's nothing at all existing right now, and so it's just really interesting the way he's handled this because this I think wants to be one of his legacy projects, maybe to outright eliminate property taxes, and it's probably not going. That's not going to happen.
Right.
There'll be some serious reduction, perhaps, in the constitutional amendment, and again, we'll see if the people vote for it.